I'm Andrew Moran, Ellen's economics correspondent.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain the swamp.
Hello and welcome to another installment of Liberty Nation's Swamponomics videocast. I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor. This week, the Federal Reserve, the recession, and the yellow metal. The Federal Reserve released minutes from the December's Federal Open Market Committee, or FOMC, policy meeting. It offered some of the latest insights into what central bankers are thinking, including on the dreaded R word. As inflation was the talk of the town in 2022, recession seems to be on everybody's mind in 2023. But what does the Eccles Building say? While the institution's baseline scenario is not a recession, forecasting 0.5% growth this year according to the Survey of Economic Projections, or SEP, is not out of the realm of possibility. The minute stated, quote, "Moreover, the sluggish growth in real private domestic spending expected over the next year, a subdued global economic outlook, and persistently tight financial conditions were seen as tilting the risks to the downside around the baseline projections for real economic activity, and the staff still viewed the possibility of a recession sometime over the next year as a plausible alternative to the baseline." Meanwhile, it also made several other notes. Slowing rate hikes is not pivoting. Core goods inflation is expected to slow further, risks are skewed to the upside for inflation but downside for growth, and concerns over rising minority unemployment are growing. Although the Federal Reserve has not declared a recession, one regional central bank accidentally did so. The Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis recently published a report titled, "Are State Economic Conditions a Harbinger of a National Recession?" Economists assess the Philly Fed Bank State Coincident Indexes, or SCIs, that can be used to determine recession-like conditions in each state and if there's a threshold that might signal a recession. According to the St. Louis Fed Bank, 27 states recorded negative growth in the SCIs in October. But here is the thing. The report noted that 26 states need to have negative growth in the SCI to suggest that the national economy has slipped into a recession. Put simply, this regional central bank admitted that the US is already in a recession, accidentally so, which is something that most Americans would agree with, according to the recent Political Morning Consult poll. Ultimately, central bankers might be fearful of telling the public to brace for a recession, severe or shallow. They don't want to talk the country into an economic downturn, much like if the world were going to end tomorrow, politicians probably would not make an announcement. Of course, it is clear that the actions employed by the Fed and its counterparts worldwide have led to financial destruction, be it the decline in purchasing power of the currencies or record levels of debt. They have suffered tremendous losses, whether it is stocks they own or the falling value of bonds they possess in their balance sheets. Remember, the Fed, the Bank of England, the Swiss National Bank, the European Central Bank, and the Reserve Bank of Australia have lost an accumulated $1 trillion. So, how are they responding? By buying gold. In the first 9 months of 2022, central banks bought 400 tons of gold, double from the same period in the previous year. Gold had plunged as much as 10% in 2022 until it rallied in November and erased all of its losses, so pretty much central banks got a nice discount. From the Fed to the ECB to the BOE, central banks dropped the ball and they will never recover from the mess they created. Unfortunately, it is the people who have to suffer the consequences and clean up the mess, not the smartest men and women in the room. That's for me this week. Please read my full Swamponomics column on the pages of LibertyNation.com and be sure to check out my previous interviews on Swamponomics TV. Thank you.
Entertaining, informative, and just plain fun. Watch Liberty Nation's The Conservative 5. Produced by conservatives for conservatives. C5's The Left Free Zone. Hosted by Liberty Nation's Lisa K. Donner. Joined by a raucous, irreverent panel of authors. Deconstructing leftist narratives. Debating the hot topics. And remembering to laugh. Join the official conservative safe
You only
space.
did that to piss Jeff off.
Liberty Nation's The Conservative 5.
I'm Andrew Moran, Ellen's economics correspondent.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain the